It must have been right around Halloween. I guess I just never thought it would happen to me. I had always had healthy hair and thought it could handle anything. I knew I shouldn't have been doing it, but I was always rushed for time. I thought, I'll do it next time. I'll be more careful. And then one day, it just hit me. My ends, it was like they were gone. You've all heard the horror stories of using too high of heat and the detriments of not using a heat protectant. How overuse of your hot tools can lead to damaging your ends. You think it'll never happen to you.
My hair feels nice. I don't get what the big deal is about a heat protectant.
But what if I told you it can and will? Today you'll hear the story of my hair mistakes and how I went from being an overexposed, high heat junkie with terrible ends to having the healthiest hair of my life. No exaggerations about it. For real though, this is a true story. With that being said, let's go. I wore extensions for years and I always found myself rushing through my blow dries. It was just so much hair for me to handle, you know? I just wanted to get my hair dry as fast as I could. I would take my concentrator nozzle off my dryer because I felt it sped up the time. I could see how rough my hair would get, but I thought, well, that's what my irons are for, to smooth it out. But looking back, I know it couldn't have been good for my hair. Mistake number 1, not using a concentrator nozzle. Not using a concentrator nozzle might seem like it's no big deal, but there is a reason most blow dryers come with them. A concentrator nozzle allows you to have control over the airflow by directing it onto your hair in a specific area or direction. Think of using a concentrator like this. You've got all your makeup on and it's time to apply your eyeshadow. Would you use the brush you applied your bronzer and blush with to apply your eyeshadow?
Well, that didn't work.
No. And that is because you wouldn't be able to give your eyes the specific coverage you want. You need an eyeshadow brush that is going to allow you to target the specific area of your lids. A concentrator nozzle works the same way. This is important because a concentrator nozzle allows for you to tame frizz, create smoothness or volume in your hair while allowing for less iron work post blow dry. Because the airflow is being directed to smooth out or lift your hair with either your fingers or a brush, you won't have to work as hard to get that smooth or full look post blow dry by having to run an iron through your hair at a higher heat or multiple passes. If you're one who likes volume, you want to make sure that you are constantly over directing the hair and lifting it straight up while you rough dry. You can use your fingers or a brush to work your hair in the direction you want. Tipping your head upside down is also ideal as it will naturally fall to create volume. If you're one who likes a smoother, sleek look, you want to make sure you are directing your hair in a downward motion, gliding the dryer through your hair towards your ends. If you struggle with frizz, using a large round or paddle brush will help to create a bit more tension in the hair to smooth out your frizz. Using a concentrator nozzle really does make a difference, and if your dryer doesn't currently have one, I will list some dryers below, and I want to hear from you all in the comments. Are you team volume, one who wants volume all of the time, or are you team smooth, one who lives for a smooth, sleek look when it comes to your hair? I love being able to connect and get to know you all as best as possible, so don't be shy, come say hi and tell me about your hair in the comments. Because I wasn't using the concentrator nozzle, I would end up feeling like my ends were never smooth, and because my extensions were a different texture than my natural hair, they always looked more rough post blow dry. I loved using a high heat with my flat iron to smooth everything out, and it always felt so glossy and sleek. It was like the higher the heat and more passes, the better it felt. I guess looking back, 400 plus degrees on your hair is a bit much. Mistake number 2, using extreme heat. When I say I used to be so guilty of this mistake, I am not exaggerating.
Not even a little bit.
There really is something to be said about how soft the hair feels after a pass of super high heat from your iron, but there's something more to be said about it wreaking havoc on your hair.
Aww.
Seeing high numbers for certain things can be a good thing, like sunscreen. You want a high SPF because you want to protect your skin from the damage of the sun, the amount of money in your bank account. Who is going to argue with seeing loads of cash? Unlike a strong SPF and secure bank account, you don't want the setting of your hot tools to be extremely high. In fact, you want to find the lowest setting possible for your hair that will still deliver the results that you want. I recommend taking time to play around with your heat settings to find out just how low you can go, and try taking smaller sections as well to allow the lower heat to work more efficiently. If you have thick and coarse hair and currently use a temperature of 400 degrees or more, try dropping it down to a 375, and even better if you find you can go lower. If you have fine hair, I suggest staying between 300 to 325 degrees, and you honestly probably could stay below 300 depending on how you rough dry and what products you use. If you're team volume, I have several videos on volume products and blow dry tips that you can find in my playlist, Your Volume Needs. And if you're team smooth, someone with frizz and more coarse hair, I want you to know that I am also working on videos for your hair needs as well. Another thing I was really bad about was how often I curled my hair. I was just so obsessed with the perfect curls, and I wanted the fullness my curls gave me at all times. Working at a salon, it was just always accessible to me. I was curling my hair upwards of 3 times a day. It was almost like an addiction. I remember it was a running joke at the salon.
Here goes summer. What's that, curl number 10?
Clients were even commenting on it. I was just obsessed, and it was a real problem, one that got out of hand fast. Mistake number 3, one pass too many. Getting your hair to look perfect at all times can really be quite the challenge, and while I understand not everyone works at a hair salon to curl or flat iron their hair to perfection, you still on your own at home can be passing your iron through your hair too many times, and if you're taking too large size of sections, you are setting your hair up to be overexposed to heat. Like mentioned before, taking smaller sections will help you to get your hair into the shape that you want. This is because the heat from your iron can be evenly distributed through your section. Think back to our sunscreen analogy. You want a high number in SPF protection, but think about if you use just one single squeeze of sunscreen, thinking that it would be able to spread evenly across your whole body. Your body would be too large of an area for one squeeze to spread and protect your skin. Your curling or flat iron is the same. If you take too large of a section when curling your hair, that heat must work its way from the hair directly on the iron to the hair on the outside of it. Think about how incredibly hot that interior section is getting. That interior section is being exposed more than needed and will only lead to breakage and damage, as well as having to go back over your section multiple times. This is the same when using a flat iron, but reversed, because the hair on the outer section is being overexposed with heat while working to smooth the interior section. On top of proper sectioning, you want to make sure you are using the right products that will help to hold your style the longest for your hair type. I find when wanting my curls to really hold, I don't like to use any product that's too heavy. For fine hair types, this is extremely important, but it's also important for coarse hair types as well. Instead of using a heavier smoothing lotion, opt for a lighter oil like Olaplex No. 7 or Color Wow's Dream Coat, which is super lightweight but tremendously helps to keep your frizz gone. If your hair often falls flat, you can also use a product with higher hold like a gel or cream. I like Moroccanoil's Strong Styling Gel, as well as IGK's Bouncy Blowout Cream that provides hold but is lighter in feel. You also want to use a heat protectant that offers hold that you can spray directly onto your hair prior to your iron, like Redken Hot Sets. We will touch more on this product in just a bit, so make sure to stick around for mistake number 5, as it's our most important mistake that you really don't want to be making. I really want you guys to make sure you are taking proper sections and not overusing your hot tools. I literally was so bad on this topic that clients still talk about it, and it has been years. I'm glad I can laugh about it now, but at the time, it really was a problem. A big problem I had when wearing extensions was that I never wanted to get a haircut. Having length was everything to me, and I couldn't dare to think of not having it, but once I decided to take my extensions out, I really could see how thinned out my ends got. I really don't even have a lot of pictures from that time because my hair looks so bad. I ended up cutting it quite drastically to get rid of all the thinned and damaged parts of my hair from all of my heat use. It sort of seemed counterproductive. I had spent all that time refusing a haircut. I almost wondered if I had gotten one, if it would have made a difference. Mistake number 4, not getting frequent cuts. As a stylist of 16 years, I have heard and been understanding of clients who didn't want to lose length even when they needed it. Our hair plays a great role in how we feel about ourselves. However, if it feels bad, if it looks bad, it's probably bad, and chances are it will only add to affecting your feelings in a negative way. Not getting frequent haircuts allows the split ends created by mistakes 1, 2, and 3 to continue working their way up your hair strands, furthering your damage, eventually leading to needing more length removed come haircut time. This is like a lawn full of beautiful green grass. It's beautiful and luscious, but all it takes is one weed to come in and spread like wildfire, leading your entire lawn to be ruined. Split damaged ends is the same to our hair as weeds are to grass. It can be hard to part with our length, but it really does help to allow your hair to reset and grow new. Getting frequent haircuts doesn't have to be a monthly thing, but it is something you should be aiming to do at a minimum of 4 times a year. Even the lightest dusting makes a difference, and your hair will be so happy you did. However, this mistake of not getting frequent cuts does require a PSA. If you are guilty of mistakes 1, 2, and 3, and what mistake 5 will be, correcting this mistake is not going to make a difference. I have been here, cut all my hair off only to continue using a pattern of too high of heat, too many passes. I even lightened my hair and tried growing it out while doing this, which only added more stress. I was left with fried, thinned, broken ends, having to cut my hair once more again. One would think I would learn my lesson. I didn't learn my lesson. You think the time I spent abusing my hair would change me, make me see how wrong I was? It didn't matter. And on top of all the high heat, all the overuse of my irons, I don't even think I can say it. I wasn't even using heat protection. Mistake number 5, not using a heat protectant. I've said this once, well, multiple times really if you watch my other videos, but I'll say it again. Not using heat protection is one of the worst things you can be doing to your hair, and paired with our other mistakes, it is the perfect storm to ruining your hair. You should be correcting this mistake first and foremost, as it's the easiest one to embrace and be diligent about, and then correct mistakes 1 through 4. You want to be using a heat protectant when your hair is wet prior to blow drying, and it's best to use a dedicated heat protectant like Moroccan Oil's Perfect Defense, or an oil like Olaplex No. 7, K18, or Redken's Big Blowout. These are all great heat protectants when drying the hair. It's also important to reapply your heat protectant post blow dry if you are using a flat or curling iron. This is where I most prefer a spray heat protectant like Perfect Defense or Redken's Thermal Protection Spray. With these, you're able to spray directly onto each section, getting the most coverage and protection possible. I typically don't like Redken's Thermal Spray hot sets for finer hair types. However, if you're one who has issues with your curls holding, this is a great option. It has a high level of hold and it will help extend the life of your curls. Just be sure to not spray it too closely to your hair, as it will make your hair too damp. Any of these heat protectants, while correcting these mistakes, will allow you to transform your hair just as I have been able to. It is a promise I made to my hair, and you should be making as well. Your hair will not only be thankful, but you will as well by having the hair of your dreams. I hope you all enjoyed today's video, and I will leave you with more tips for repairing your damaged hair right here to continue getting it long and strong. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next video.